Hey, guess what? We're gonna talk because we're live.
Hey, it's just the Sky Kid. We're at the B&B, and it's the interview portion of the show. We've got John from Dead Swans from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hi, John! Swallow.
What's up, Jess?
Hey, actually, I'm super stoked, A, that you're back, and B, that you made it through COVID, right? We're still alive.
Yeah.
The universe didn't kill us yet.
Yeah.
So exciting. So John, previously Penknife, also Blancho Nano, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Because it was Blanco Nino, and then you became Penknife, and now you're just doing this. So I have all of the questions for you. So we'll start with, how did you transition into Dead Swans?
It was the pandemic. I was bored.
Okay.
I was just bored. Yeah, Penknife, through COVID, Penknife lost our practice space and the band kind of dissolved. And I mean, we couldn't really practice safely anyway. My grandfather got COVID and he wound up passing, and in his passing I kind of like sat down and had, some Seagram 7 because that was his drink, and then I started pulling out like old country records that he used to play, and I was like, oh man, this stuff's really good. It's been a long time since I've listened to this. Pulled out an acoustic guitar and just started writing. And I wrote like an EP's worth of material, and I was gonna make like a joke band.
Okay.
And like put it all out on like a tape and like make like 15 copies to give to friends or whatever. Because I was like, how many sad bastard country songs can I possibly write? And they just never stop. Like, they just keep coming out that way. I figured I would eventually go back into playing punk rock, but they just kept coming out, so I just made it into like a real project.
I didn't hear any dog references, breaking up, truck, or like boots under anybody's bed. So I mean, like, you broke the mold. It's not traditional country, but it is in the vein of, I would say, early influencers, right? So way back when country,
Sure.
which is really folk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's always pretty tongue in cheek if I ever do reference it as country music. It's mostly me like kind of making fun of the project, I guess, to keep it lighthearted.
Right.
But yeah, the influence is in there for sure. There's definitely like a lot of like Ernest Tubb that I'm listening to, and Patsy Cline and stuff. But
so is this more of like a project that started really, I mean, like, yes, Penknife dissolved, but like as an homage to Grandpa?
Yeah, kind of it was. And I mean, that's where the project name came from, where the band name came from, was because there was a dead swan in the family, last name Swan. And then, so it's supposed to be Dead Swans, and then that turned out to be a band out of the UK, so I just added the extra dead. And
Double dead.
I just recorded the stuff in a bedroom in my apartment, and then I sent it off to Ryan Dustimer in Gurney, who I actually do play bass in another band, like an indie rock band called Shining Nothing.
Oh.
Ryan is the singer in that band. So I was like, well, here's these recordings I've been working on, put some banjo on it, and then I sent those off to, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Josh Christopiat of Ronaldo Jenkins and the Teardrops out of Racine.
Oh, nice.
So he did like all the percussion work and some lap steel and all the mixing and mastering, and he continues to play on the records. And so then it turned into like, we were still in a pandemic, so we weren't practicing, we weren't like in a room together, and we weren't playing shows. So then it turned into like a real band, so the name made sense.
Right.
And then when shows did start to come back, all of them were like, or both of them were like, we can't really do this, so I just decided to go out by myself.
So when did you start playing back out again?
Actually, this Friday is the 1-year anniversary since the first time I played any of these songs live.
Okay. So you're kicking off a tour here. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like, hey, we'll do Jess, and then we go do whatever we need to go do.
Yeah.
So tell us about your tour. Where are you headed? And I want you to touch on, how much more difficult is it, if any, to book shows now after the pandemic. What does that look like for people who are now booking?
Sure. Okay. Well, so all right. So the tour is like a pretty short run of shows. It's tomorrow we're in. We being myself and Lou Henai is out of Elgin, Illinois. We're in Bloomington, Illinois at the Night Shop with the Bunch of Bastards. We're in Columbia, Missouri at Dive Bar with Dick Johnson. We are at the Rage Club, which is like a front porch house venue in Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've never been there, so I'm pretty excited for that one. I actually don't know who's playing that one. And then we play with Dax Cameron in Milwaukee at Linneman's on Sunday.
Nice. Like a nice short weekend warrior tour.
Yeah. The last run of shows I was on was with Old Wolves, and all told, I was on the road for like 2 weeks. And I told them, I was like, I will either be a leaf blowing in the wind by the end of this, or like a stone of a man. And by the very last day, I was like, fucking over it. It was way over it.
So 2 weeks is probably your max then?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't help. It didn't help that the last 2 shows Travis Newton was at, so we were kind of partying a little harder than we probably should have.
It didn't help. You don't help Travis. That's what they're saying.
He's a bad influence, and I love him so much for it. Is it harder to book shows? I don't know. It's different now because it's like I'm kind of playing in an entirely different community than I ever was before. I think it's probably easier because of that community.
Okay.
For one, it's mostly solo artists. It's primarily like singer-songwriter types. So you're not trying to schedule with 3, 4, 5 other people in your band to find a date that works, and then schedule with, up to 15 other people in other bands plus a promoter and a venue. You're kind of just like, some of my favorite shows have just been booked by like myself and 3 other people when we go out and play. So it's pretty easy. But on top of that, the whole kind of roots Americana scene is like, it's been really, really, really supportive. There's a lot of artists talking about other artists instead of talking about themselves. So it's not a lot of there's not a lot of gatekeeping.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a really great experience.
So as far as you now booking, when you do book, I guess how now, because you switched genres, are you hooking up with these venues, and like how much research are you having to do now to switch and go into a whole different light?
That's a good question. You're like, yeah, I have a lot of those.
I mean, like, it didn't come out very clearly, but like it was good.
I don't know that I do a whole lot of research. I get offered more shows than I think I have to actually book.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really convenient because I think, like, I've booked most of this run of shows that we're about to go on, and I think I got myself in a little bit over my head. Promoting has been difficult. So it's actually another good reason to be on the show today. But in terms of research, I mean, the other thing too is like I don't think lately you've had so much to research venues to look for the ones that will welcome the kind of Americana thing, because it seems to be a pretty natural transition for punk singers or punk musicians to go into the singer-songwriter thing lately. So I've found like the perfect example is the place that we're playing tomorrow, the Night Shop in Bloomington. They've got I've always known them for having punk rock bands. Okay. They've also had like Hawthorne Heights on their stage, but they've also had Carrie Nation and Speakeasy. So they're and that place was also I played there with Old Wolves on the last run of shows that I did, and they were wildly welcoming to us. They were more than happy to have something different than just punk bands all the time. So yeah, it hasn't really been too difficult.
Well, that's great to hear, because as far as a concert goer, I feel like it's now more difficult to navigate going to a show because every venue's different. Every venue has different rules. Depending on what state you're going to go see a show, you're like, do I have to take a test, or do I show a card, or do I wear a mask, or what the fuck am I doing? And because now we've reached endemic, they say, stage, a lot of people, even though they have their COVID-19 protocol, it says, a lot of venues I've been looking at, I click it and it says, call the venue for updates. And I'm like, so before I buy a ticket, now I have to call them, like, what do I have to do to come here? So as a musician, what do you have to do to book a show at a place? Or is that not even discussed? You don't have to show anything, you just show up?
I think right now the shows are small enough that there's not a lot of discussion about it. I can't think of a show that I've been booked for yet that has had much of a conversation about it at all.
Okay. I mean, that relieves some stress. Do you feel comfortable as a musician going out and touring?
Yes and no. I feel comfortable that I will survive tour. I'm vaccinated, and everybody that I've been on the road with has been vaccinated, and I think everyone that I've been on the road with, including myself, has still contracted COVID.
Right.
At one point or another.
Not dead yet.
Yeah, not dead yet, but yeah, I mean, so the point being though, like, I could go out on the road, I could use a dirty mic, get myself sick, wind up not being able to play the rest of the shows, lose the money that I would have made at those shows, and then lose the money that I would have made at work because A, I took the days off of work to be on the road, and
right.
B, I can't go back to work for, a week or however much longer anyway,
right.
Because now I've got COVID. So like I said, yes and no. Like I feel comfortable that I will survive a tour, but I can't say that I'm 100% comfortable that I won't get sick.
And I feel like that's where we are, just as a whole, as a community, is like what we need to recognize is that we still have significant trauma from what this was. And if people are like, I'm fine. No, you're not. We were all changed by this. And so, So I think the important thing is give each other grace. So like if you're with a group, right, and they're like, please put a mask on, just put your fucking mask on. Or like, we're still in a feeling out period where we don't know, right? So right now everybody says we're fine, but this, who knows what fall will bring. And so who knows what music will be like. And I think the important thing is too, like you did, the pandemic hit, your space that you practiced in went away, the band dissolved, but you went on and survived. And that, I think, speaks volumes. You said that you wrote pretty much like a whole EP, right, by yourself, and now when we talked and you booked this, besides this tour, you have new music coming out.
Yeah.
So what does that, like, how much music do you have? Where is it available? Look, here's a 3-parter. And when does the new music come out?
Oh my god, a 3-parter.
Oh my god!
Can he do it?
Will you survive?
So how much? All right. So the EP that I had recorded initially, that was supposed to be the fake band EP, that's probably 9 tracks total.
Okay.
That have still not been recorded. I started to record them and then wrote a 4-song EP that's called the October EP. That was the one that I did with Ryan Dustimer and Josh Christopia. That is on, all streaming platforms. I used to have CDs. I sold out of them. I've got cassette tape copies of it. There was a single that got put on a COVID relief compilation called Daddy Said that is on, I believe, all streaming platforms. That one's through Punkerton Records. That's how I got linked up with Punkerton Records. After things started to calm down, I finally went into the studio to start working on the initial batch of songs. And then when I started working on those songs, I went through the end of a 5-year relationship that then had me writing all of these new songs, most of which I played tonight, that are all coming out on the record Lenses. So when I got linked up with Punkerton Records and I started writing all these songs for Lenses, I started showing them to Brandon Lewis, that runs Punkerton out of Columbus, Ohio. Newark, Ohio. And he was like, this has got to be a record. And that's kind of why you make songs. In the first place. I'm just teasing Brandon. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I know this other record is older and should take precedence, but like this is what I'm feeling right now. So this is what needs to get done first. So quite a while later, we're finally in the mastering process of that record. So I have not made an official. I guess this is the closest thing to like an official announcement. But I'm expecting the first single for Lenses to come out in late September.
Ooh, nice.
With the record coming out probably October or November. So that was, what was that? That was 2 parts, right? So the third part, can I remember the third part? I don't remember the third part.
That's all right. I think you answered them, but like in 2 parts. So that's okay, because I asked when your release was. I asked how much music you had.
I did get the 3
you
parts.
Did. You're good. So I guess with Punkerton Records, so did you record and then send stuff off, and then now it's become more of a thing, and that's why you're going that route, or how did you even come to know what that was?
How I found Punkerton?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really weird. So I'm in some folk punk group chat, or not group chats, but Facebook groups, and I think I had just released October, and I remember what it was. There was, during BLM, there was somebody in Madison that was trying to put a compilation cassette together that was, like, ACAB themed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'd write a song for that. And I did, and then the compilation fell through. So I had this song just sitting around that I didn't really have anything to do with. And then just scrolling through Facebook one day, I saw Brandon had made a post. He's like, I just started this record label. It's all kind of alt country and folk music. We're doing a compilation. The proceeds are going to support independent venues that are affected by COVID.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I've got a random song. I don't know if you're going to like it. And he fell in love with it. And like to the point that when shows did start coming back, I was talking about booking a run of shows, and he was like, you gotta come out. You gotta come out to Ohio. So that was the first time that I had played. I think that was the first time I'd ever played outside of Wisconsin or Illinois.
Oh,
was going
nice.
out to Ohio. So Brandon hooked that up. And then, yeah, I always say that he hassles me about new music, and he hassles me about putting records out, but I mean, truth be told, he's like one of the bigger proponents. Like he's one of the people that is just like constantly trying to keep a fire under my ass to get the songs done.
So then recording looks like what? What do you do to record?
Largely I do it in my bedroom.
Yeah?
Largely I do it at a desk. Yeah, it's pretty convenient because there's not really drums on much of anything. If there are drums on something, it's something that Josh does in his studio. But in terms of percussion, for most of the music that I'm working on, it's like a single kick drum and a tambourine that I just like. I track one at a time, and then everything else is just acoustic guitars and banjos, and I can do all of that just in the corner of the bedroom. And it saves me the money on the hourly of recording in a studio.
I have no clue what's happening, but I feel like the cats
shit-ass cats are going
water over.
fucking crazy. I don't mean to cut you off, but we have someone watching from Brazil.
Awesome.
Oh,
Hi. Did they have a question?
No.
Well, hi Brazil. Thanks for watching. I think that's the neat thing too about this is like it makes all the small connections all over the place, and people appreciate music everywhere. So thank you.
Sure.
But okay, so when you sit down and record, is it just like a mic into a computer and then you mix master it yourself? Are you doing everything yourself?
No, yeah. So it's usually what I'll do is mostly the songs are written on a guitar, and I'll put a mic in front of just the guitar and the vocals, so it'll be like about between both, and I'll record guitar and vocal live onto one track, and then I'll track everything else around that. Then I bounce the stems, and I send those stems off to Ruthless and Toothless Studios that Josh runs.
Okay.
In Racine. He'll do a bunch of mixing. He sends me the mixes, I send him notes, and we do that back and forth until it's like we get to this point where it's like I gotta make a trip to your house to sit in the studio with you and tweak these things.
Okay.
And then he tweaks them, he sends them back, I okay them, then he masters them. And that, he actually, on my way here tonight, he called me
Nice.
to double check some mastering thing he was doing. So we're getting there. We're finally getting there. The record's going to come out soon.
How, like, soon after you get back from tour, do you want to play more shows? Are you just constant, like, I'll get it, I'll play whatever anybody wants me to do? Or are you like, I need downtime and then give me a couple weeks and then I'll go back out?
It has been super constant.
I was going to say, that name popped up and Dead Swans has been, I mean, like, I don't know, all over the place.
Yeah, it's been playing a lot. This year, I've had at least a show every month, but usually a few shows a month. In July, I think I know I played every single week in July, but I think I played a couple of those weeks. I think I played a couple of shows. But all of that being said, after this particular run of shows, I'm getting home and I had to make the decision to like.
I'm gonna take a break.
I'm taking September off. I might have a show in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Maybe. I will probably find out tomorrow.
Does it count as a show if we do a backyard barbecue fall bash with acoustic things?
In September?
Or early October?
Well, I mean, I'm only taking the break for September, so I can absolutely play.
Not September.
I know. I do have a show. I only have one show booked for October. Actually.
Okay, all right.
That would be a pretty convenient time for me.
So that's our goal. I think I want to do like a welcome open house backyard bash with a fire and a barbecue, an acoustic set out on our back deck as like a, hey, we're a thing again, which I think would be fun and I think would just be chill and like you would fit.
I would love to do that. As long as I can drink as much Lagunitas as I want.
You can, I mean, like, I'm not your real mom, so you can do whatever you want to do. So do you remember, I'm going to ask two questions. First, I want to know about merch, so you can talk about that whenever you feel comfortable. But second, do you remember when you were on the show and I was like, rah, 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 don't use a distributor? Are you still using a distributor?
Yeah.
Why?
I knew this was gonna come up.
You should have. Yeah. Why?
I caved. So all right. So when you got mad at Penknife for doing that, that wasn't my choice. I still didn't have Spotify at that point. When I finally got Spotify, it was because Ryan Dustimer had a family plan.
Okay.
And he said, I have an extra account.
Okay.
And he got tired of sending me songs that I couldn't listen to. So he put me on his family account. So I am still not funding the beast.
Okay.
But that being said, though, like so much of what I was listening to was still coming through Spotify.
Yep.
And I was like, ugh, I guess I'll put it on Spotify. I did try to fight your fight though, and I've posted on Facebook something about Spotify stealing from us being artists, and literally no one agreed. Like it was all bands, like all musicians.
Because they don't fucking read.
They were all real mad, and then so you know that Hannibal Buress meme where he's like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right."
Right.
So I turned that into a meme. It was like when you roast Spotify and everybody gets mad at you, like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." And yeah, everyone got really mad. And then I posted another status, I think, after that was
Fuck you, Jess, I can't do this anymore.
I was like, y'all are going to be even more upset when you find out that I'm putting my new music on Spotify.
I mean, like, it's like one of those unfortunate things. I have found that a lot of people we talked to said exactly what you did. I want my music distributed, and this is the only way to do it. Like, it is hard to fight that fight, one. And two, whoever commented that no they don't, fuck you. Read the things before you click accept. So we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They had multiple contracts by various different record labels, promoters, distributors, who worked with people like Elvis and Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. And do you know what the fucking common theme was? all of these people in the clauses, as you, I do, blah, 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 said, give up, etc. You're selling yourself to hopefully be pimped in a way where you make income. The music industry is a giant pyramid scheme. I still am going to fight that fight, and I really, really hope. What I was hopeful for was that COVID would flip the script, and that all of us, because we were all doing it out of our own basements anyway, figured out how to make this better.
I kind of thought it was going that route.
So I really hope that at some point y'all like dust the gross out your eyes, read the shit, and say, oh, we can do this. Because it's the networking. If you don't even have to put in as much effort or research to book a show, the same should be true about putting your music out onto a site.
If Elvis can steal everything, you can do it yourself.
Yay! So that's my soapbox for the night. But we're going to talk about merch before we're done, and I do want you to highlight once more again, because we're running out of time, where you're going to play. So talk about your merchandise, where people can find you, and your run of shows this weekend.
Cool. Okay, so merch. Currently what I've got, I got two different t-shirt designs. I've got a white on black, it's a tarot card design for the tarot card for love, that for some reason is two hands that have like a spear going through them.
Yes.
Sounds like you already know.
Well, that's because that's where your love line is through your
Oh.
hand. Because way back when, and why the ring gets put on your left ring finger is because it was believed that your love line started through your left ring
and
finger.
And goes to your heart. Yeah, okay,
Which is why
interesting. So here's my thing. I thought the design looked cool, and I was like, when I made the shirt, I said, like, well, so many of the songs are about love or lost love, so this fits. But I was also like, I don't really know what this has to do with love, but whatever.
Now you know.
So I have that. The other shirt is a black on white that is a Scandinavian. It's a piece of Scandinavian folk art from the 1500s of a werewolf.
Ooh.
And it was found in the crime book Lords of Chaos about the 90s black metal community. All the church burnings.
Burn all the churches.
Yeah, that's a
Thanks,
really,
Varg. Thank you, Varg.
God, so that's a weird thing too. That first run of shows that I did, every single show that I played, black metal and Burzum got brought up somewhere.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Because he laid the roots. He did something so astronomically different. He said, I denounce all of these things that are my culture, and I'm going to make it a point to make something so blasphemous that everyone will know me. Because really, he's like an egomaniac, and what is that? What's the N word? A narcissist. There you go.
I was thinking nationalist.
Well, he's also a Nazi.
Nazi's another N word, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's legitimately nuts, but he's nuts in such a, not to justify all of that evil, but, like, that was his point, and he did it successfully because we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, no kidding. So, all of that being said, where I got the image from was not from the chapter about him. But the werewolf was meant to represent, something about, like, after a certain hour, people's like inner werewolf comes out or whatever. Mostly I just thought it looked really cool. So I have those two shirt designs. The tarot card design is also on stickers and patches. I've got some lighters. Got cassette tape copies of October. I totally forgot what it was called for a second. I did do a 4-way split cassette with W.T. Newton, Old Wolves, and Ronaldo Jenkins and the Teardrops.
Wonderful.
I think I have one copy of that left. I've got another shirt design on the way, and then lenses will be coming out. I think Lou Hennies and I are going to do a collaborative split together. So I mean, there's other stuff that's on the horizon for sure.
Do you do your own merch making, or do you contract that out?
I've gotten local, either local or fellow DIY contractors for that. So like Stupid Rad Merch in Milwaukee will do it, or there's a place out of Florida, I think it's called Fingerprints.
Cool.
Did the last run. Dark Circles Records it's not really a record label, it's more of like a tape collaborative label label, I guess. They did the tapes. The 4-way split I did in my kitchen by myself.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I try to keep it all as either local or DIY as possible.
Some elements of what we talk about. Good job. Anyway, where can people find you?
So yeah, I mean, all the music is on all of the. I mean, every streaming. It's on streaming services that I've never heard of.
Right. So you're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on Instagram?
I'm much more active on Instagram than I am Facebook.
All right.
I also wrote a book too that I feel like I always glaze over. But I did write a book. I have that on my merch table at all times too.
You wrote a book?
I did, yeah.
Dude.
That book actually came out probably before I met you the first time.
God damn.
Yeah.
You didn't mention a book then either.
No, I was real drunk at that interview.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So yeah, Bandcamp, Instagram, Facebook. I don't have a TikTok.
Okay.
Maybe I should get a TikTok.
That's good. Don't do that.
Cool. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, I don't have a TikTok either.
And then yeah, that Rona shows is the night shop in Bloomington, Illinois tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Dive bar in Columbia, Missouri the next day.
Saturday.
Rage Club in Peoria, Illinois on.
No,
No,
Saturday. Sorry,
yeah.
I think it's Thursday. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
I'm fucking up. Bloomington on Thursday, Friday in Missouri, Saturday Peoria.
And then Linneman's in Milwaukee on Sunday.
There you go.
And
Don't
then,
listen to me.
Yeah, I think the next
You don't.
confirmed show is in Janesville, Wisconsin, October 15th with I think RJ Halstead is playing the show.
Cool.
And I'll be at Fox Valley Roots Festival November 12th, I think, with Old Wolves and WT Newton's band County Graves.
Cool. So I would encourage you to also participate in Merch Monday. Do you remember Merch Monday?
I do.
Hell yeah! So Merch Monday is really awesome for anybody who's out there. Every single person in the whole wide world can fucking participate because it's really just to highlight whatever it is, musical or art or author-wise, that you want to do. You take a picture of said merch and then you post it on our page and you hashtag Merch Monday and you tag whatever group. So Mr. John Dead Swans would take all of his wonderful fanciness and put a picture on and say hashtag Merch Monday at Dead Swans, and then you'd be able to find his stuff and then purchase items to promote that artist, and then we help share it as well on our multiple whatever it is that we do yet again. So everyone can do that because anyone listening can be like, oh, like Brazil Guy. If Brazil Guy's like, hey, there's this really great local band here, take a picture of their merch, link their shit, let us know, because that's how we learn things. We learn from each other. Anyways, all of your merch sounds super awesome. I'm super excited for your new album. This was my first time actually getting to hear you as this project, because every time you've played, we've been indisposed in some way, shape, or form. So thank you for coming and playing.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I loved it. It reminds me very much of the White Buffalo, which you said you've never heard.
I've got at least a 40-minute drive back to my dog, so I'll give you something to listen to.
I think you will very much enjoy him.
Nice.
I came to find out about him because I worked at the job center, and we had a community project, I guess, with work release. And this guy walked into my office and was like, oh, you're Jess. And he knew Kith. And then he was like, oh, you should listen to this band. I love this group. And we shared music. And I was like, holy shit, I really do love this guy.
Nice.
So I think you will also enjoy him. Cool. It's in the same vein. It's just a guy playing a guitar, singing his heart out. And it's really well done. So if you out there want to hear more of Dead Swans, it's Dead, Swans. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube, our show, Spotify, and multiple other streaming sources in which you can find music. All you have to do is Google that shit, or if you are in any of the areas of which he is playing within the next 4 days, feel free to stop out, say hi to John, check out his music, buy his merch. And until next time, my friends, we will see you later. Next week, we have the Punk Rocketeer from Stevens Point. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.